Welcome to Let's Talk with Tara, the space where real life meets real answers. I am Dr. Tara T. Stallings, counselor and coach, here to help you navigate life's toughest challenges. Together, we'll explore psychological insights, emotional healing, relational growth, and biblical truths to empower your journey. So grab a seat, lean in, and let's have the conversations that matter the most. Welcome. So today we're talking about dealing with anger constructively. Let the fire refine you and not burn you. What if your anger isn't evil, but it's actually your soul crying out for justice, boundaries, or healing? Think about that. Because we've been taught that anger is something that's just terrible, that's horrible, that's bad, and you need to control your anger. And you do. But what if we think about anger from a different perspective? What if it's your soul crying out for justice? Because there's a holy anger, indignation for justice. That's anger. What if it's an anger for boundaries, to create boundaries within yourself and others? Or what if it is it because you're hurting and you need to heal? So let's talk about that today. Anger isn't the problem. Anger is not the problem. Now, I teach anger management classes. I do. But anger is not the problem. Anger is a valid emotion. It's what you do with that anger. Unmanaged anger is something different, but anger is not the problem. Anger is, and like I said, anger is it's an emotion, but it's not meant to control you. And what happens is, because most people don't know how to control their anger, the anger consumes them, and anger becomes an issue. It becomes a problem, and it becomes uncontrollable because the anger is controlling them and they are not controlling their anger. Now, you know, guys, I'm a Bible. I believe in the Bible. I don't like the word Christian as much, but I'm a Bible believer. I believe in what the word says. Ephesians 4:26 says, be angry. Listen, be angry. You can be angry. It's an emotion. But sin not. Don't go out and do anything that's gonna get you in trouble or get somebody hurt or get you put in jail. It says be angry, but don't sin out. Don't sin. So learning how to understand what anger is and how to control it and it not control you. Unaddressed anger often turns inward, and that's what I see. It turns inward, and the first thing happens is most people deal with depression when it turns inward. When they're angry and they internalize their anger, they become depressed. Or if anger turns outward, they become destructive. So they don't hold it in. They display their anger with their hands, they tear up stuff, they curse. It becomes destructive to the people and the things around them. So you have to look at anger from two perspectives. That's uncontrolled, unaddressed anger. And most people deal with anger on one of those scales, either inwardly, which turns into depression and anxiety, because depression and anxiety, they twins, I call them twin cousins, or outwardly, and they become destructive, either verbally or physically destructive. So ask yourself, what is your anger trying to protect? What is your anger trying to protect? Is it protecting your emotions? Is it protecting yourself from the wall that you put yourself in because of past hurts and traumas? What is your anger protecting? Identify the trigger and the unmet need behind it. Identify the trigger and the unmet need behind it. What happens is when this is now I'm going to share this because now I notice people get offended. Offense can turn into anger. And when people get offended easily, they get offended because they misunderstood or somebody said something or did something that triggered something that happened or a belief system from the past that caused that person to hurt emotionally. Taking my time with this because I want you guys to hear me. Most people that get offended, they get offended. Now, a lot of times it's pride too, because they feel like, oh, I'm the greatest person in the world. And you said something that hurt my feelings, or you told me the truth about myself, and nobody's ever told me the truth about myself, and I've never heard that. Now, I'm telling you what people have told me. Well, nobody's never said that about me. Well, let me tell you why they never said it about you. Because they knew you were going to explode or you were going to shut down, and then they had to do damage control. So it's easy for them never to tell the truth around you, because you get offended and then you get angry and you display it either inwardly or outwardly. You get depressed or anxious, or you get destructive. You're emotionally abusive. So they're afraid to talk to you. They're afraid to tell you the truth because of offense. I had to throw that little bit in there when we talk about anger, because people that get offended, it turns into anger and they display it. Okay. So what is it you're trying to protect? Is it that you operating in pride? You think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread? You think so? You think you never do anything wrong? You do. You're human. You're supposed to. You're not perfect. You're not supposed to be perfect. Let's look at this from a different perspective: family and generational patterns of anger. Now, when we talk about anger, yes, people can display it inwardly or outwardly, but then you have a pattern or generational patterns of anger where your parents were angry, where their parents were angry, and they displayed their anger either inwardly, depression and anxiety, or outwardly, negative behaviors, emotional, um, 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 physical, or verbal abuse. And now you model what you saw. You model that violence. You model that verbal abuse. You model that uh, 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 that silent, because silence treatment is abuse too. Because let me just say that silent treatment is abuse. So you model that behavior from what you saw at home. Because there's a saying that we say, more is caught than taught, meaning you're gonna do what you saw than what they told, than what they said. Basically, than what they told you to do. You're gonna mimic what you see at home. Let me give you a basic example. I'm gonna give you a basic example. Children say, well, when I grow up, I'm not gonna ever smoke cigarettes. I'm not gonna ever drink, because their parents smoked and their parents drink. And guess what happened? When they become adults, they drink and they smoke. And their parents tell them, oh, you don't drink, don't smoke. They go through the DARE program at school. You shouldn't do this. But guess what? When they become adults, because they saw you do it, they do it. Caught, then taught. That's what I mean. I just want to say that. So when we talk about anger, think about your family members. Was your dad and your mom angry? How did they display their anger? Were they verbally abusive? Did they give you the silent treatment, that's abuse? That's abuse now. That's a form of abuse. Were they physically abusive? Did they try to control in the home? That's abuse. There's a form of anger and abuse. Many people repeat or reject family anger patterns without healing. So let me share with you what I mean with that. So when I said more is caught than taught, when we talk about anger from a family generational perspective, one or two things are going to happen. You're going to repeat it or you're going to reject it. But guess what? The both are bad because you go to the extremes in them. If you repeat it, you become what you saw, you catch it. If you reject it on the scale that's so far off, it still causes issues. It still causes issues. You never gonna get angry, then you become a people pleaser. Then you still have issues because you did not heal from them. You have to heal from these emotional deficits in your life. And if anger is an issue with you, if you do not heal from it, you are likely repeating it now, and you're going to pass it on to the people that you love, and it's going to always cause problems. So I want you to reflect on how has anger handled, how was anger handled in your childhood? How was it handled in your childhood? Now, anger can look, like I said, it can be physical, it can be verbal, but you can get the silent treatment. I think it's the worst kind of abuse. You just shut down and ignore a person. That's the worst kind of anger abuse. So anger was handled by silence. You just got cut off. You got ignored. You got rejected. So now you deal with rejection, and you don't want to feel rejected. That's another podcast. Put your comments down. Healthy expressions versus suppressions. Healthy expressions of anger versus suppression. So suppressed anger causes bitterness. Come on in a little bit because I want you to hear this to my angry people. When you suppress your anger, it causes you to be bitter. You have health issues, and you have relational disturbance. Your relationship's always toxic, no matter if it's intimate relationships, family relationships, doesn't matter, work relationships. Is there a pattern with you? Are you bitter? Are you bitter? Do you have health issues because you're angry? You're internalizing this stuff. I talked about it last week about when we talked about anxiety. It causes cardiovascular issues. It causes health issues. Anger causes health issues also. Your body keeps count. Your body keeps count. A lot of you guys, because anger, we're going to throw this in, we're going to get to forgiveness. It leads to unforgiveness. Unforgiveness has been known, has been proven that it causes health issues. Health issues. So what do? Anger, healthy anger on the other side, brings clarity, boundaries, and necessary change. So this is what I found to be true. People don't like to tell the truth. People don't like to talk. They don't like to share their emotions with other people. One, because they feel like they're being vulnerable. Two, because they feel like, well, I tried to talk to them before. I'm just telling you, and they never change. Okay. You can't change people, but you can change yourself. You can share with a person how you feel. And most of the time, what people do, they want to talk when they're already angry, or they have, back in the day. Now, some of y'all still do this. Y'all go get y'all some liquid courage, some alcohol, or some type of drug, and then you want to talk. And you cannot talk to somebody when you got liquid courage and you come at them aggressively. Because if you come at somebody aggressively, telling them the truth, you're going to get aggressiveness back. So you have to be able to have conversations. And most people do not know how to have conversations that are uncomfortable with other people, especially when they hurt them. They're not clear. So to have healthy anger, you want to you want to make sure that you're clear with how you feel, not what they did. This is not about what they did. It's about how you feel about what they did. So you want to have clarity. You want to, it sets boundaries. If you have someone in your life that keeps crossing boundaries and you keep allowing them to cross boundaries, you need to be clear about the boundaries you want and why you want them, and how you have to reinforce them. You have to reinforce your boundaries until the people say, okay, you know what, they not let me cross over. And guess what? And then it will bring the necessary change. It brings the necessary change. But you have to communicate. And we live in a society where we have all these ways to communicate and nobody's saying anything. Nobody's clear. And everybody's still riddled with anxiety, depression, and anger. Everybody's saying something, but they're saying nothing at all. Everybody's talking, but nobody's saying anything, because we have not learned how to communicate effectively. So I'm going to I teach my clients to have I statements. So you make statements that says, hey, I feel, not you did. Okay, it's a difference. Because when you share clarity, you say, I feel when you did when you did A, B, C, and D, it made me feel. I feel hurt. I feel rejected. I feel abandoned. I feel inadequate when you said or you did something. It's the I statements, because 9 times out of 10, the people don't know what they did. They don't know what they did. They don't realize, because some people are so caught up in themselves, they just do stuff and they don't realize how it affects the people around them. So you have to share with them, I feel this way. I feel this way when you do or when you did A, B, C, and D. I feel it. Instead of accusing them, well, you did such and such, and when you did this, because when you come at somebody defensively, they're coming back on the defense also. They're coming back. No, you're not going to talk to me that way. You're not doing that. They're coming back on offensive, not defensive, but offensive. Let me say that. And the last point I want to talk to you about as it relates to anger is when you have anger and you don't forgive, because what happens is when you build up anger, you build up unforgiveness. And forgiveness isn't giving that person permission. It's not a dismissal. It's not releasing them. Forgiveness puts boundaries to prevent future offense. Forgiveness, I'm going to say it again, the crickets, it doesn't give the person permission. And forgiveness is not about them, it's about you. You have to forgive people. Yeah, they may have hurt you. You tell them how, and they may not understand it. But guess what? You be clear about how you feel about what they did and how it made you feel. They may not ever change, but you get your point across. You say it with clarity, and guess what? You forgive them. You set your boundaries up, because you have people that's gonna keep crossing boundaries if you allow them to keep crossing them. But then when you talk about boundaries, anger, you have to forgive people. Forgiveness is for you, not for them. Forgiveness is for you, not to them. Anger must lead to wisdom, not revenge. I'm going to say that again. When you get angry, when I get angry with people, when somebody does something that makes me angry, the first thing I do, because now the first thing I used to do was I cussed them out. I did. I gave so many people a piece of my mind, I had to gather it all back. I used to cuss about you first. I'm going to give them a piece of my mind. Stop giving people a piece of your mind. That's why you crazy. You scatterbrained now because your brain, your mind everywhere. Gather your mind together. Gather it back together. So you forgive the anger. The first thing I do when I get angry or somebody makes me angry or I'm upset, I check myself. Because anger should lead to wisdom. It should lead to wisdom and not revenge. So wisdom is what did they do that make me so angry? It makes you reflect on yourself so that you can deal with your emotions. So when it happens again, you've dealt with your emotions. You got some wisdom. Oh, I know what this is because I dealt with some stuff, some rejection, some abandonment. I felt, they were being slick at the mouth or however. You deal with it. You gain wisdom for yourself. If the person has gone on, that you can't find them, write them a forgiveness letter. I tell people all the time, write them a letter. Why, what they did, and why you have to forgive them. Have a little, write the letter, read it out loud, tear it up, set it on fire. That's what you do. If you're dealing with anger, when you do, and forgiveness is something that you deal with, unforgiveness, and then setting boundaries, because sometimes you're angry because you don't know how to set boundaries with people. Set boundaries with people. Now, let me tell you something. People going to cross boundaries as long as you let them cross them. You don't have to. I say this. Now, I have a teenage granddaughter that I'm raising. And if anybody that know about teenagers, they kind of work your nerve a little bit. But this is what I do. I set my boundaries. I choose not to argue. That's a boundary. Because guess what? People can't argue with themselves. If they like drama, you choose not to engage in dramatic conversations or interactions with people. You just say, no, we're not going to do that. Walk off. We're not going to do that. And if they keep on, just let them argue with themselves. Keep going. You have to set boundaries. Because eventually what will happen, and you reinforce those boundaries, eventually what will happen is they won't cross the boundary because they're not getting the reaction that they wanted from you. They're not going to get that reaction from you. When people cross boundaries, they're looking for reactions. That's all. Because sometimes that's their indication that you care, a negative response. And if that's not working for you, you change that. You do. They're not responsible for you and your emotions and your anger. You are. You are. You are. You are not bound by your past or your patterns. Whether it's your thoughts, your wounds, or your relationships, cycles can be broken and new legacies built. Healing starts with truth, strategy, and surrender. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk with Tana. If you found today's conversation helpful, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Let's keep this dialogue going. Follow me on Let's Talk Tana for more insights and encouragement. Remember, every step forward starts with an honest conversation. Until next time, stay grounded, stay grown, and keep talking.